Oh, there it is, boys. First try. First game of the day. Very nice. This Guardian guide is going to cover really the essential and the best build possible. And I'll also go over an alternative build because maybe you don't have all the relics that you need. So without further ado, let's go down to the best Harvey Birdman you could possibly play. I want to touch on the abilities because I believe most players are using the Guardian wrong, and it really comes down to the abilities. Either you are using them the wrong way, or you are not saving them for the situation that you need. Let me explain. People are using the Guardian's Whirlwind ability the wrong way. If your teammates are on the ground and you're popping this to try to save them, stop doing that. It does nothing. Just attack normal. The Whirlwind ability should be used on enemies that are your size or smaller. It'll knock them on the ground, you get free damage, you move on, and the cooldown is pretty short. But do not use this ability on bosses because you do not get invincibility frames and you're going to be stuck in animation and you're going to take a lot of damage. Wings of Salvation is one of the best abilities, if not the best ability in the entire game, because it can save the entire run. You can pick up your teammates from having 3 bars and getting them right back into the fight. It has a really big area and it's great. The problem most Guardians are doing is they're using it on bosses for damage. Now, I'm not going to say you shouldn't be using this to clear smaller enemies or mini bosses. That's fine. But when you're on day 3, you should have this ready to go and use it to pick up your teammates. You need to save this. There is also a third way to use your ultimate, and that is getting out of long, drawn-out boss ability. Your invincibility frames are very long, so you'll just fly up in the air, you'll get through the entire animation, and you'll crash right back to the ground. Be aware that you will need to know the boss ability because some of them are very long, so you might need to take a little bit of damage and just time that just right. Steel Guard is what makes you extremely effective and honestly just makes you the tank. What you do is you hold L1 to block and then you press circle to dodge, and you are going to do this little hop. You can go back, forward, left, right. What you want to do is go into the enemy right when they attack so they ping off of you. You will do a little bit of damage. You'll get some stagger out of that too. And the problem here is what makes people think Guardian is not strong is you cannot just spam this. If you start spamming it, you're going to just drain all of your stamina and you're going to take free hits. The most useful technique that I can recommend to you is when you hold up your shield and then you move forward, you do your dodge and you're doing the block, you're doing the whole little combo. What you want to do is just let go of shield so your stamina goes up a little bit and then just redo it. You're trying to time those attacks as best as you can. I think Executioner players will have a much better time playing Guardian because they already have to parry. And yes, that window is much bigger than Guardians, but you're already used to that mechanic. A lot of Executioner players are going to find it much easier to play the Guardian. Now, the best relics, I think a lot of people are going to argue, but I think there is one that is almost always essential, and you get it from his quest, and that is the Witch's Broach. There is one ability on here that stands above all else for this item. You slowly restore nearby allies' HP while an art is activated. So that means you will be spamming your whirlwind. But no one can argue healing yourself and the teammates has an extreme amount of value. You also reflect a portion of damage received when this ability is activated, and you get 3 vigor. That's HP. You want that. You want a lot of HP. Now, next up, I think the one that most people will say is the best and something you will never take off of the Guardian, which is the thing you get from the Dark Drift Knight. Increases maximum stamina. That's good for us. Guard counter is given a boost based on your current HP. You also get HP back for thrusting counter attacks. This was literally made for the Guardian. And if you don't know, the Guardian is the best person to run to counter the Dark Drift Knight. Now, the very last thing that I think is going to be the best thing you're always going to want to run is going to be the Grand Luminous Scent, or some variation of this. You're looking for HP recovery on successful guarding. It's because you are going to do this all the time. And the other one is your art gauge charges from successful guarding. These are essential. These 3 things is pretty much going to be your bread and butter, your basic things. It works for any boss at any given time. Yes, you can change some things out, but let's say you don't have those things. Let's just say you don't have any of that. You want to prioritize vigor and endurance. If you can get partial HP back post damage attack, that is huge for you. anything that gives you increased stamina, HP back on thrusting attacks, anything that gives you a cooldown on your ultimate, because that's what people are really relying on you for. I would always be taking that. I think a lot of people will disagree with me about not recommending anything for guard counter, and that's because most people, I think, are using guard counter wrong or they don't understand it. Guard counter is when you have your shield up, you get attack, and you will get the little sound effect and you will hit them back. That works really good for the mobs, just the small enemies. That's fine. But this is a boss rush game. I do not think it is a good idea to recommend guard counter for bosses that are hyper aggressive and have 5, 6, 7 attacks. Your steel guard ability should be used against bosses. Do not worry about your guard counter. But if you have a recommendation, you let me know in the comments. Now for the best weapon and shields, the absolute best weapon to get is the Commander's Standard. That's because it gives a buff to your team and yourself. It is hands down the best thing. But let's say you can't get that. Pestglaive is good. And then right after that, I would say go for a spear or pike. The reason is the spear and pike, you can hide behind the shield and you can poke. The Guardian is not really here to do damage, but you are very good at staying in the fight and putting on those debuffs or status effects. I find the cold condition is very reliable and you can find it most often in your run. Now the best shield is going to be probably the fingerprint shield or the visage shield, but you most likely won't find that every run. So to keep it easy, just find the biggest shield possible. If you can find the other two shields, great, but that's just not realistic. Let me know if this helped you, if you have any tips, and I will see you guys in the next video. See you later.